Hello, welcome to Reach for Healing. I'm Rebecca Harmon, and we're on day 3 of our 40-day abundance journey based on the Abundance book written by John Randolph Price. The theme for today's statement is focus. Yesterday, we spoke of awareness. Today, we're going to kind of bring it in a little closer and move from a general awareness into a bit more focus. So I'm going to share my screen. We'll get right to that statement. So get your journals out. Day 3 statement is this. I am conscious of the inner presence as my lavish abundance. I am conscious of the constant activity of this mind of infinite prosperity. Therefore, my consciousness is filled with the light of truth. The awareness from yesterday and the focus of today is about transforming the way we look at the abundance and prosperity in our lives. We live in a very action-oriented society where we think that anything that has to happen, we have to work harder, do more, action, action, action. And these spiritual metaphysical studies around abundance and prosperity, which again is much more than money, it includes all aspects of our lives. This way of being is less about doing and more about knowing. And so this journey with its sometimes very traditional language and I would even say sometimes obtuse statements is about shifting ourselves from a place where we think that it's all action and doing into a place where we know deeply and definitively that it's about knowing and being. And so the process over these 40 days of writing down these statements is a process that we undertake to shift from action-oriented to inner focus. One of my favorite early 20th century metaphysical authors' name is Florence Scovel Shinn. She is perhaps best known for writing the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. If you've not read that book, Google The Game of Life and How to Play It. It's available as an audio book for free. It's also available many other places as a traditional print book. It is chock full of wonderful advice that would align very nicely with the teachings of John Randolph Price and with this abundance journey. One of the things that we have to get in our practice, if you will, have to start becoming open to, is this concept of preparing to receive our good. And so I'm going to share a quote from Florence Scovel Shinn that I put on a picture that I took when I was in San Diego a few years back. And here's the quote. We must prepare for the thing we have asked for when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight. A few years before this picture was taken, I had decided I wanted to go back to San Diego. I lived in San Diego in the 1980s and hadn't been back there in a long time. And as I began to study spiritual metaphysics and learn that this was more about being and knowing than a lot of crazy doing, I began to know that I would vacation or travel to San Diego. And as it's turned out, I have been to San Diego for pleasure, sometimes business and pleasure combined, but 3 times in the last 5 years. This was my first visit. This picture was taken on my first visit. At the time that I had put my attention on going back to San Diego, and I live in Pennsylvania, so it's a bit of a haul to get to San Diego. At the time I had put my attention on traveling to San Diego again, I couldn't see how that would happen. I had no business that I could imagine being done in San Diego. I couldn't see a way to simply write a check and take a vacation in San Diego. But I had been using these principles and practices and knew that figuring out how to do it was not my work. My work was to know and to prepare, as Mrs. Shinn wrote, prepare for the thing that I have asked for, even when there was no sign of it in sight. And that has worked for me over and over and over. And so I share this quote by Florence Scovel Shinn to encourage you to begin now to prepare for that thing that you have asked for, that thing that is on your heart. And as you walk this journey of abundance and journal these statements of faith, even as they may seem a little foreign to you, or maybe even a little old-fashioned, I would encourage you to write them down, think about them, consider the true message that they're trying to share with you, and just allow yourself to consider that this works, and prepare for that which you have asked for, because I promise you, it's on its way. I hope you'll stop back for our next day, which is day 4. Until then, take care.